Okay, welcome everyone for our sixth class of 2023. I'm going to call it College Support Meeting. We used to call them, and we still call them, I guess, Jumpstart meetings. I see I have with me today my communication specialist person in the chair is Quinn Davis, graduate of Cal State Long Beach. Hi, Quinn.
Hello.
All right, she'll be kind of producing me from the background here. She'll be making sure you have the handout up in the chat. She's going to put that up very shortly, so you'll have the presentation that I'm sharing with you now in front of you. She will do that. Stand by as I get started here. This session should be brief, but very informative. I cut some things out of it, which gives me a chance to say that we'll talk about it later, but you definitely want to subscribe through here now to the YouTube channel. And that's because some things I can't cover in this session. The very next week, Monday and Tuesday, I'll put out short videos on them. You can't possibly cover completely or correctly everything. Some things are done in short videos on my YouTube page, which is WestA EEP. Make sure you can go to our website and subscribe to our page. You can do that very easily by clicking the banners at the top till you get to the YouTube page link and go there. At the end, I'll show you that when I'm reviewing how to stay in contact with me, okay? All righty. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let me see, I probably should transfer, let's see, I don't see Christina here. So I'll transfer it to Quinn.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't tell it was you.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, CM, is that you?
Oh, yeah, that's me. That's
Okay,
weird
well,
that has that. I'll fix my name.
I'm transferring the host to you, co-host. So you'll be able to let people in. All right, let's go ahead and get started. This is a rather unusual meeting because I've never thought about presenting it this way, but I think this is the best way right now to do it. Some would say this is one of the most important meetings because you're leading now into the October 1st period, and I'll explain why that's important in a moment. I think you'll get the idea. Things youth and parents should be doing now in the admission and financial aid process. I'm calling this part one because part two will be the next meeting. I didn't want to cover so much, so I picked the important parts out, and then I'm going to do the videos. Then I'll have some more. I'll come back in a couple of weeks. For early admission schools, I should back up and say, if you have a support agreement with us, we'll make sure you make all these key milestones. Just hang on, we'll follow you right through it. If you're not, take a look at these. And in fact, everybody should know what's coming, even if I'm helping you. And if you want to get some help, you'll see at the end how to do that. For early admission schools, you want to send official 3-year transcripts now. One of the videos I'm going to do is going to talk about early action, early decision, and what's that one they call exclusive or special early decision. And I'm going to talk about those in a video this week. But for early admission schools, right now you need to send the official 3-year transcript. So if you're applying to Howard University, you should know by now, looking at your application plan, that I want to deliver Howard University before October 31st. That means you have to get with your counselors because they're shocked about these kind of things usually. And you want to have those transcripts sent now. Now I'm going to talk to you about how to do that in just a moment. The next thing you need to wonder about, I'm going to go into detail on all these, okay? Order the, the Fafsa usernames and passwords for the student and the parent. Each need these. All right, the student, parent, and parent each need a Fafsa username and password. I'll show you how to order those again today. Who will be the Fafsa dependent parent needs to be determined now when you have a separated and or divorced parent issue. Sometimes it comes up with mixed families when they're remarried, but not always. Usually the income in the house will be considered dependent income. So you don't have to worry about the other parent. There's special cases where it's not true. Know the components of an affordable college list. Now, what makes up an affordable college list? talk about that. Draft your Common App and UC essays. Prepare for supplemental essays. Those are the things that should be happening in the writing world. And everybody, contrary to popular belief, everybody will not have a college essay to do. It's only if you're the schools you pick dictated, and that's determined by what your GPA is, right? So if your GPA is reduced, you probably won't see any essays or have to worry about those. But I've seen high GPA students not have any essays. It depends on the college list, how it's constructed. CSU application list and application prep. I'm going to talk about that tonight too. So these are things that youth and parents should be doing right now. And that's where I'm going to spend my time in the next 45 minutes or so. Next, we have a thing called, first of all, we have what I call, I haven't called it this in 10 years. My people have never heard me say this. I call this Transcript-ology, because it turns out you can handle the transcript situation wrong and it will prevent students from getting admitted. So let's make sure we really get into these view graphs. Again, if you have any questions, it's best for you just to go ahead and start talking out and ask me. I haven't restricted you from doing that. You can do it. Or you can chat and one of my people will tell you, will get my attention and tell me about your question. I'm encouraging questions anytime you don't understand something or how it applies to your situation. Here are the schools that do not require transcripts with the application or before decision. And for those that see this on YouTube, we're talking about the state of California here. I know there are people from other states that watch what we present here. CSUs and UCs, which are the California state colleges, and most other public universities do not require transcripts. You might say, well, how do they know? Well, these schools use a thing called grade self-reporting. Now, we think the CSU application self-reporting system is not user-friendly and you can make mistakes. So this is why on our program, we fill those out for the students, then teach the student how to follow up. Just a small fee to do that. We'll follow all the way through the admissions process. Some of you have already completed application data sheets. Frankly, we're way behind on that, and I'm afraid that all of you will want yours delivered at the same time. I would really like to know this week by you completing the application data form that you want us to help you with this. We've done earlier presentations on CSU applications and CSUs. So when we're handling your CSU application, we're noticing the schools that you're applying to in CSU and making sure you can get into most of them, if not all of them, that you're not picking a whole lot of CSUs that are difficult to admit. And along those lines, we have a limited amount of fee waivers we can give for the first 10 or 15 that come with us, come ask us to do it, we can do that. Again, get the data sheet filled out. And in order of receiving the data sheets, we'll be able to help you. Otherwise, the fee for CSU is going to be $70 per school. All other schools require transcripts prior to a decision. I put that in red because look what that's saying. All other schools will require the 3-year official transcript prior to a decision. So if you don't send them the transcript, they won't decide. Private schools, out-of-state public universities, most of them, they all require, local or out-of-town private colleges, they all require the 3-year transcript, official transcript to be sent. Who will send? You start thinking now. Ask your counselors. Who will send the transcript? How will it be sent? You need to get into that guidance counselor. They're not even going to bring that up to you. Ask your guidance counselor for clear direction as to if they will send it for you or will a third-party organization send it? If so, who is that third party? How do you contact them? Some of them use a third-party provider called Parchment to deliver the transcripts. There's a few others too. But please get a hold of that counselor and find out. Get clear direction about transcripts. Now, if I'm handling your applications and working with your student, you're going to hear from me by email this week on this to remind you. But right now, you can consider this notification that you need to find out who is sending the transcripts and how are they going out. Now they're not sure, or they say you are, then you need to order those transcripts. You need to order at least 10 transcripts. It's going to be a cost, and you put those aside. They'll be sealed. They should be sealed transcripts. If you are required to send it, that should be R. If you are required to send it, and let's talk to you about, say you're going to send it yourself. Say you don't trust the school, or you want to send one anyway, or, the school says they're not going to do it. Let's suppose that's true for a second. Okay. Oops, okay, let's suppose that's true for a second. Okay. Rules for sending transcripts. Any questions out there, Christina?
No, you're good.
Okay. Rules for sending transcripts. Do not use certified mail or FedEx. And the reason is because when those are delivered to the university, they're going to go to the mailroom. And then you got to depend on the mailroom to know where to send those. If there's new people in that mailroom, that may sit in the mailroom for quite a while. Do not use certified mail or FedEx. However, use regular mail, but at the post office, mail it from there, and request priority mail with a destination tracker. Costs you a little more, but it's worth it. Then that way you can track the destination on your computer. And it can be proof that they received it. Because they're gonna, some of these schools will lose it, will argue that you never sent it, or make it look like you never sent it. So you want to really be sure of that. Send it to the admissions office or to the attention of the admissions office. And you send it to the university at their address, then attention admissions office. Sometimes you just say admissions office. Almost always on the website, if you Google the name of the school, admissions office address, it'll be listed on the website, their official mailing address. That's what you use on your envelope. This is really important. I hope you're closely watching this. Don't wait if you have an early application. Send it now. Don't wait for better grades. Some people think, I'll just wait for better grades in the next semester, whereas they're trying to make the decision on the 3-year transcript. They don't care about that. Most selective schools won't wait for that anyway, especially if you have an early application, but in general. The college will tell you if they need the 7th semester transcript. They'll tell you if they want the first semester of the senior year. They'll tell you. More Transcript-ology. Here's the reality of how to read GPA. The following GPA types on the transcript are the same or very close, very close. UC CSU GPA, the weighted GPA, and the university GPA, all basically weighted GPAs. They're all weighted GPAs, okay? Total GPA, unweighted GPA, and non-weighted GPA are all the ways we say unweighted GPA. Weighted means that it considers the AP classes as having 1 point higher for each grade level. So you could have a higher trend, could have a 5.0 for an A, 4.0 for B. Honors courses are typically 0.5 higher, right? But there's a limit to how many of both you can actually have on your transcript. But that's the difference between weighted and unweighted. Unweighted doesn't even consider the extra points. Just says A is 4, B is 3, C is 2, D is 1. Now, why is that important? Remember, the weighted GPA is not necessarily better than the unweighted GPA. Important, here's why. Important GPA truths. Admissions decisions often, in fact, almost always, are based on the unweighted GPA. Dollars from colleges are based on the unweighted GPA, not the weighted GPA. This is why when we have too many AP courses, it pulls down our unweighted GPA. We have a lot of C's. Now, selective private colleges do qualitatively consider AP classes, i.e., did you take some if your school offered them, but not quantitatively like UC. They don't count it into the GPA. Any questions on that? I just want to be sure that you understand that. All right. Fafsa usernames and passwords. Remember, any questions, use the chat or you can just let me know. We're going to move through this pretty quick. If there are none, that's okay. Fafsa usernames and passwords. Please create these tonight for both your student and parent. Do not wait past October 1st. You can write this down somewhere right now. All you have to do is Google create Fafsa username and password, press enter, and you'll go to the site where you create username and password. Yeah, let me see if I can't show you that here. Let's see if I can't do that. I bet I can. Maybe I can't. Let me see here. I guess we can't. All righty, let me see. Good. Just one moment. So you can go on the internet and you can just, let me see if I can do this. Maybe I can't, the way I've set up the way I've configured my computer. Actually, I can't. I wonder if you can do that for me, one of you two. Can you do that? Can somebody go on there and Google Fafsa create username and password? Quinn,
Quinn, are you going to do that?
Yes, doing it right now.
okay, let me make sure you can share, okay? You should be able to share it now. I'll guide you through what to do. You want to go to your browser, your Chrome browser. I'll go back and repeat it requires a transcript in a minute. I did say it earlier. I'll go back and do it. You don't even have to base it on yours. It's so easy to know who needs a transcript. I'll tell you in a minute. You can go back and look at that slide. Oh, you don't have the slides yet. Okay. Well, don't say reset, create. Create username and password, create. Okay, there you go. Okay, now click that blue link down below, up above. Oh yeah, I see, yeah, go down below, there you go. Okay, scroll down. It's telling you here what you need to do it. Now click, oh, let me see what you need. Scroll up, Quinn. In fact, could you go back to the other Google screen? I want you to pick a different one. Okay, pick the one right above it. Nope. Okay, you clicked the right one this time. All right. So you click where it says create. Make sure you show that to them again. Show it to them again slowly. Okay, so you click, hold up, Quinn. You typed in create Fafsa username and password, and then you click create an account. Go ahead, Quinn. Go ahead. When you do that, it takes you here and tells you what it's all about and what's needed. Scroll down, Quinn. Now click get started. Right there, that's the first screen. Each of you needs to create a username and password. Okay? Okay, thanks, Quinn. Okay, good. So please do that. That's an important step for you to do. I recommend you do it tonight. Here's why people get the feeling that October 1st is the deadline. No, but October 1st, as you'll see later, is the first day. And what happens after October 1st is, parents, when you start moving to the holidays, you're just not inclined to worry about the Fafsa, and then that time gets eaten up. I really think you should get that done tonight so you can even have a chance for your Fafsa preparer, who could be me, or you, to get started right after the beginning of October 1st with the Fafsa. Okay. Now, Quinn, thank you, Quinn. I'm going to go back in the presentation. The question was asked, and I'm going to go back. How do we know from our list who receives the transcript? Let me read over this view graph again. It's a super important view graph. Here are the schools that do not require a transcript with the application. And I said to my viewers who are across the nation that we're in California, so this is kind of important to us. You might be wondering, what is that deacon talking about? Well, in California, our state colleges, CSU and UC, do not require the transcript in order to make an admission decision. We use self-reporting of the grades, even on the UC application. Any questions on that first? Now look at this next thing in the red. All other schools. What do I mean by all other? Anything that's not a CSU or UC, which basically is every school, require transcripts prior to the decision. Now, your counselors aren't going to tell you that. They're not thinking about telling you that right now. I am. So go to your counselor and find out how it's going to be sent. Are there any questions now on which schools require the transcript prior to the decision, which do not? Christine, is there another question on the chat? Or whoever's free right now? I'll look.
Yeah. Let's see. So based on our specific college list, how do we know which of our schools require official transcripts?
Yeah, I just answered that.
Yeah. Then
Okay, anybody else? Any other questions? No?
No.
No other questions. Okay, watch it closely, okay? Really closely. Okay. So I covered here, I believe. Oh, maybe I did cover this, right? All right, so please create these tonight. I really think you should. Now, the thing you'll think to do is to email me and say, do I want them? Well, if I'm not doing your Fafsa, I don't need them. Second of all, if I am doing your Fafsa, you provide it on the Fafsa data form. So now you got something else you got to do. You got to go in and create and complete the Fafsa data form we sent you. If you lost it, I'll tell you how to get it at the end. We'll send you the link again. But on that form, we ask you for the usernames and passwords. So you're not finished yet if I'm doing it. Okay. Again, if you want me to do it, first get your username and password and request a Fafsa data form. We'll be sending them out over and over again to you in email. A lot of you missed that the first time we did it. On the other hand, October 1st, let me just say this, is not the deadline for the Fafsa. Let me say that again twice, because a lot of you are going to think it's the deadline from listening to, radio advertising or from counselors who just don't know. October 1st is not the Fafsa deadline. October 1st is not the financial aid deadline for any school I'm aware of. The deadlines start to pick up December 15th for a lot of out-of-state public schools, like Boise State's deadline for Fafsa is December 15th. Did you know CSU and UC's deadline, priority deadline, is March 2nd? You might wonder, well, why are we doing these so early? For the reason I said earlier, is why some people do, because you're going to start getting busier. The household will be distracted. And that's the last thing you're going to think about doing. I just can't stress enough. You want to pay attention and start thinking about this. But don't overstress if your Fafsa is not submitted October 1st or early. You hurry, but you do not rush, because you do not want to sacrifice accuracy in this data. Don't rush and then submit a Fafsa that maybe has errors in it. Okay. EEP's goal, I have this goal. Our goal in EEP is for October 1st to 30th for Fafsa submission. We're submitting your Fafsa, and we know now we're trying to submit it that first week of October. And as we get data sheets, we schedule them. This is a good goal for you to try to get it done by Halloween. False beliefs every year. The earlier you file, the more money you get. That's not true. There's a priority deadline for every school. If you start filing after that priority deadline, yes, the amount you're going to get could be reduced. It's not true to say the quicker you file, the more money you get. But file as accurately as you can and as quickly as you can. Okay, hope everybody understands that one. Here's some other Fafsa and early financial aid considerations. Who will the Fafsa, a lot of these are going to be rhetorical questions that you can call me about if you're not sure. Who will be the Fafsa dependent parents? What about the CSS profile, which is an additional financial aid document and process above and beyond the Fafsa? Okay, it's additional requirements. Okay. Again, a lot of you have in your agreements that I'm going to file your Fafsa and your CSS profile, so you don't have to worry too much about this. I'll be sending you data sheets, to collect the data I need for these, though. Additional financial aid documentation. That's what you think about when you think CSS profile. Now, the non-custodial parent information is requested for many, I would say 70% of private colleges that are on the CS profile, all of them not on there, require the non-custodial parent. So if you're a parent, you were divorced, the other parent's information will be required by a lot of private schools. Some don't. So maybe you want to check with me and make sure you have both kinds of schools on your list. Because sometimes the other parent is not cooperative. So they think they'll owe some money. They don't want to really do it. And those are always difficult situations for me. They're starting to happen already this year, and it happened a lot last year. Non-custodial parent information will be requested by most of these schools, and that's through the CSS profile, never the Fafsa. The Fafsa just cares about the custodial parent or parents. Start thinking about if you need any waivers or whether you're just going to comply with the non-custodial parent. Again, if you have any questions about that, you should get a hold of me so we can start planning before you deliver your Fafsa. What about parentless youth? There's some youth that actually are parentless. They're going to be handled in a different way than students who have parents. Please do not let your youth file your Fafsa. File their, you know what? I should have put their Fafsa there because it's really theirs. Do not let them file their Fafsa. You're the parent. You should file it for them, because a lot of times when they're trying to figure out what to put in for your information, they make big mistakes. So I wouldn't let youth file their own Fafsa unless they're going to pay for college. And of course, they're not. You are. So you file it as the youth. And in fact, the document asks you, are you the parent filing for your youth? There's actually an option in there for that. But if you just file it as the youth, it's the same way. Yes, it's the youth's Fafsa, not the parent. So it's their Fafsa, not yours, even though your money is paying for school. Any questions on that? That's pretty important. Okay, just moving right through these. The components of the college list. So I think a correctly done college list should be balanced. I think they should be balanced. You should have kind of you may have different kinds of schools, but you want to have balance. Very important to have balance. All right. UCs, first of all, require a high GPA, 3.9 or above and weighted. No SAT, ACT is accepted or read by UC. The most selective UCs are UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, UC San Diego. These UCs were and are very selective, very difficult to admit. In fact, the difficulty in admitting is because they don't look at the SAT anymore, so they look only at the GPA and the writing. And they're finding out there's more than enough students they could choose with those two parameters. If they had SAT, they would be able to get through it easier. So that's why a lot of people think they're going to go back to some type of testing. CSUs. All students should, I'm sorry, I got to correct these errors. All students should mix in CSUs that they know they can get into, that you know they can get into. And I've covered that in some of our meetings, but I'll help you with that again right now. I think this list down there, I put it in compact form here. I did it in graph form before. CSUs above 3.8 weighted to even consider them are San Diego State, CSU Poly San Luis Obispo, CSU Long Beach, I'll tell you why the asterisk is there, CSUN and CSU Fullerton. Those are the most difficult to admit or get into CSUs unless you're in their service areas. Some of you may have high schools in west side of LA, for example, that are in Northridge's service area. And they would be easier to admit. Now, why do I have an asterisk on Long Beach? Because we have a partnership agreement with them that they'll take our students as low as 3.3 if I get them on the list and get it to them by a certain date. They haven't set a date yet. So I'm going to email you and email people and find out who's applying to Long Beach. I'll know because some of your applications I'm doing for you, so I'll know, right? But other people I won't know. So I'm going to have to ask everyone by email if they're applying to Long Beach. So I'll help a little bit with admission. CSUN has 2 asterisks by their name because these CSUs, though they're close and more nearby, are extremely difficult to admit and require high GPAs to get into those schools. So that's why I did that. They're close by, but look, they're very difficult to admit. Even though they're not as difficult as San Diego State and Poly SLO, they've gotten more and more difficult over the years. Some majors at CSUN are more difficult than others. That's a little bit unique to CSUN, though. I should say all CSUs, like for nursing and sometimes engineering, all of them are difficult to admit to those areas. Mostly non-selective CSUs, Dominguez Hills, Bakersfield, Channel Island, Humboldt State, and East Bay. So these are the CSUs that are not selective, not hard to admit to. You got to be 2.5 or above. Moderately selective CSUs, all other CSUs are moderately selective. What CSUs are our favorite CSUs? Sonoma State, CSU Bakersfield is where we have the most students, those 2. Cal State Los Angeles, Sacramento State University, and CSU Long Beach. Those are the ones we have we're closest to their leadership in their schools. We're very close in the case of some of these schools. Okay? So CSU is the second component of the college list. UC's was first, it's CSU's. Want some more components of the college list? Affordable, non-traditional alternative colleges. Grand Canyon University in Phoenix is a Christian school, but it's very much non-traditional because they're working more to push you to get you ready for your career. My students that come out of Grand Canyon are really career ready and do extremely well in their careers. A lot of them get their jobs before they leave Grand Canyon. It's a Christian school too, by the way. And in that way, they're very like an alternative to traditional Christian college. Then you see why we have this picture here, I believe. You might know this guy over here to the right. That's our bishop and our senior pastor. In fact, we'll have a big announcement we're going to make to you by email about that. I'm going to do a video about how he's impacted our programs and our ministries here, because he'll be passing the torch to his son, who will become the pastor of our church. Charles Drew University is what that's about over there. Charles Drew and us are in a major partnership. They've prepared about 6 of our students for medical careers the last 4 years or so, and they've come out and done very well. We have a couple students there still. It's the best kept secret. One of the best kept secrets educationally in town. Very affordable, and they will very, very well prepare our students for medical careers, radiology, sometimes physician assistant. They're getting 4-year degrees, by the way, from an accredited college. Okay. How about HBCUs and traditional Black colleges? That's a picture of Howard University over there to the right in Washington, D.C., that we're traveling to. We'll be going there the 19th to the 21st of November. Virginia State University, Norfolk State University. I'm thinking about that D.C. trip. I think we already have 5 people who've signed up. We didn't know how it would go, so we're definitely going. If you're interested, please let us know. Our website has a sign-up sheet for that. And we'll show you how to use our website at the end. Howard University, Virginia State, Norfolk State, and Tuskegee are the most affordable and highly career-oriented and produced a lot of successful students. And there's a couple others I could put up there, Delaware State. Yeah, for example, you might wonder why I don't have Morehouse and Spelman and Xavier. I certainly not here. I'm talking about affordable. There's nothing unusual affordability-wise about those schools. You're going to pay $20,000 to $35,000. Whereas with Howard, if your student has very high grades, applies early, they're going to get some money. They're going to get adequate funding to look at that school. Okay. The others have great scholarships for students that are 3.4 to 3.6 and are out of state. That'll make those schools affordable. See, because in our program, sure, you know, they have a good college is well known, is nice, but we want it to be affordable. We don't want our parents having to use their retirement funds up to pay for college. We don't want that large loan indebtedness necessarily. So we like to show you schools that are affordable. Top private colleges that are affordable that we like, we have good relationships with: George Washington, Seattle Pacific, Reed College, Carnegie Mellon, Lehigh, University of Laverne, Bible University, and California Baptist University. Okay. Oh, by the way, I should have said here, we're going to have a Christian college fair. We're going to release information tomorrow on that. I wanted to include it here, didn't get the view graph done in time. We're going to have a Christian college fair at West Angeles on October 8th, Saturday, October 8th. We're going to have prizes and a lot of fun stuff, a financial aid presentation. The National Christian College Fair is the group that runs it. We're going to have 20 to 22 Christian colleges present. It's going to be over at our cathedral area. There'll be more information about this coming soon. We thought we needed to have better parking, so we'll have more parking over there at the cathedral. So when you see these Christian colleges on here, you think about that. We're going to have a nice fair where we'll be presenting all these schools actually on this list will be in that fair. All right, the college admissions process. Let's go review this again. I believe I've actually shown this view graph before, but I think I added a few little tweaks to it now. Okay. Let's take a look at when we're going to apply to what colleges. So we think there's out-of-state public universities, the California State Universities, early action private colleges. I'm gonna have a video about that this week. Universities of California and regular period private colleges. Okay. So around the 15th, you start applying. In fact, people could already be applying to out-of-state public universities in the West. California State Universities, there's 23 of them. You're going to do those October, or we're going to do it for you, or you're going to do it October 1st to the 31st. Early action private colleges are November 1st to 15th. Universities of California, going to be November 1st to 30th. I mean, the application's available now, but you can't deliver it till November 1st. So right now is a great time to start on those essays. I think some of you here are going to be meeting with me real soon to get started. Or your children will be doing it very soon. A lot of them were doing SAT prep, so I didn't want to disturb them, but we're after that now. Regular period private colleges, those are going to be done from the 1st of December to the end of the year. That's a good way of remembering what's due when. And if I do an application plan, you know, this is kind of the plan I'm using. When you talk about early action private colleges, Protestant Christian colleges, and the universities of California and regular period private, you're talking about schools that have essays. They're going to have essays to get into the schools. Whereas the Cal States and the out-of-state public universities, for the most part, do not have essays. Some of them do, but most of them don't. We do one-on-one and small group support for essay development. And we do other application delivery support too to make sure they get delivered on time. Okay, any questions out there? Everybody okay? Application delivery process. Well, it starts with a grade self-report in the case of UC and CSU. And UC's, I think, is case in point here. We have essays, teacher recommendations, and transcripts. We're going to cover all that. So for UC, you have a grade self-report, you do have essays, and you deliver the application. That's it. Notice no transcript, right? There's no transcript in this path. Unless they email you and request it, right? So CSU goes like this, and most out-of-state public universities. You go right into a self-report, then you deliver the application. No essay. There are no essays on the CSU application. That's what distinguishes UC and CSU at this time. UCs have an essay requirement. CSUs do not. Most out-of-state public universities do not have an essay requirement. Selected private colleges, they have an essay requirement, teacher recommendations, and transcripts. You will provide the transcripts as a part of that process. Okay, so transcripts are provided by selected private college. If you're going to apply to, if you're applying to selected private colleges, you will provide the transcript as a part of the admissions process. Okay, any questions? Of course, the SAT, that could be required by selected private college. If they're optional or require it, you're going to do it. If they just totally won't read it, then you don't have to do it. And like GW, for example, George Washington University, they don't require the SAT. They haven't since 2012, and they won't even read it if you send it. So no sense even sending George Washington University an SAT score. They won't read it. Okay, application delivery support for CSU. Like I said, there's a grade self-report and an application delivery. And then the CSU applicant student submits a data form to start that whole process. The data form is submitted to EEP. The EEP does the grade self-report. Okay, we like to follow up on the students, right? Once the students have delivered the application, we'll follow up and we'll train them how to open up the portals, the information portals, how to respond and make sure they see all the emails that the CSU sends them. We'll teach them how to set up for that. A simple thing like setting up a separate email address for CSU emails makes it so much easier for you, okay? Okay, let me let her. Okay, by the time when I saw that, I'll make sure I get it to you. Thought I sent it. I do have it written up, so maybe it'll come really quick, probably tonight. Okay. All right, let's continue here. The support costs for the CSU process with the grade self-report and the follow-up is $55. But it covers all your CSUs if you have multiple, and we'll cover you all the way through when they go to the dorm. And they actually go away to school. I don't leave you hanging on your loans and things like that. Questions that come up late in the enrollment process. We'll stay with you, I think, officially till July. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about delivery of the applications. Let's talk about UC first. There's a grade self-report, like I told you, and I keep repeating things so you can really remember it. And then we'll have selected private college in a minute, but the self-report is submitted. Same thing on private college, there is no self-report. There's a transcript, okay? Selected private colleges and private colleges require the transcript. I mentioned that earlier. And they'll do essays, and then the application is delivered. There's teacher recommendations in the case of private colleges, right? And transcripts. That process is for private colleges. And then we have an SAT, optional SAT typically. So there's SAT involved. So private college is different from UC in that there is going to be a teacher recommendation and there could be SAT required. In this case, if a school is optional for the SAT, we want you to take it. Most of those, so therefore most private colleges are still looking at the SAT. Notice over here, we do delivery oversight of the transcripts because we know that this is a commonly overlooked area. I put it up here twice. You'll start, like I said today, we covered transcripts. We talked about how you have to be very careful how you mail them and how you handle the transcripts to be sure the school gets it on time. And then, of course, the essays and teacher recommendations will help you with the startup support and to edit and review your essays. But you need to do essays and you have teacher recommendations. You don't have a teacher recommendation for UC. You only have essays. All right, how can we help now? Okay, how can we help? Let's see, Christina, could you be ready to put up the WestA website? Now I'll tell you what to click, okay?
Okay, give me a sec.
Okay, hold on, you can do that whenever actually, you know what, hold on. I'll tell you what, you hold on. I'm gonna show them these first.
Okay.
There's the website address. We're going to go through the website in a minute, folks. Don't worry. It's WestA EEP.org. We're going to show you how to register for travel on the website. The website is the key to our program. You can know what's going on, what meetings are coming up. You'll know about the travel. Here's where you register for our travel to GW and Howard. It's the 19th to the 21st, or to Boise State on October 9th and 10th. And yes, Sister Hobson, you do see a date change here. So I need to look at that again. Turns out that I was wrong about something, and I already had committed to change from the other date. So we need to talk about that. Sonoma State is going to be December 3rd. SAT prep for November and December, in person and online, only if you're actually taking the November or the December test. If you're taking the November, December test, you've already taken prep before, it's a good chance we're going to offer review prep. That's the product you should be looking to have. But most of you should be tracked into the October test. If there's any questions, please let us know. If you want a college readiness conference, I want you to email Bailey Salisbury at this email address here and tell you need a conference, a college readiness conference. And she will tell you exactly what you need to bring and have for that conference. I'll tell you now, she'll tell you again. You need your the student's unofficial transcript for 3 years, any test scores they have, and any initial college list or expected college list that they're looking at. And then we can have a great productive meeting. You can tell me ahead of time what dates and times in that same email that you require. And when you send me the transcript, I need it to be a file, not a picture. No pictures, please. It needs to be what's called a PDF file, not a JPEG file. Pictures are JPEG. So please try to send me ask your school to send you a PDF file of the transcript if you're going to send it to me that way. Please no pictures because they degrade and they can be read wrong. We're doing CSU application. Speaking of CSU application support, you request a CSU application data sheet by emailing Christina Martinez at cmartinez.eep@gmail.com. Again, if you get this presentation, you'll get these view graphs, right? We did send them the link to the presentation, Quinn, or did we?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Okay, put it up again. It's copied down there again.
Okay.
What you want to do, parents, is click it up now, and then you'll have it on your computer. And you can save it and print it or whatever you want to do. If that doesn't work for you here and you'd rather us just send you the PDF, we can do that too. Just let us know. I want you to have a copy of the presentation. That's the idea. All right. Essay review and support. Why don't you email Quinn Davis? You can arrange a startup meeting for the Common App and or the UCs. And we'll, once she gets it, she'll tell me and I'll tell you the cost based on your college list. If we've never met with you, we may ask you for a college readiness conference to be sure that the list, that we're really getting all the essays and capturing all of them. We've had cases where students did not submit all the essays that were required because they didn't, know how to read the supplemental portions. And we go through all that for you, make you an essay book, in fact. Any college affordability or admissibility questions, you can email me directly at one of those 2 email addresses. And some of you have who see this video have already found me on Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll talk about YouTube right now. Could you, let me go ahead and stop the share, Christina. Sorry about that, everyone. I got a little dry here. Christy, I think it's a good time to show the website. There you go. And on the website, show them how you got to that. Move those banners. Yeah. If you click the banners going to the right, you see the different banners for the important stuff we're doing now. So some 2022 stuff up. Go ahead. With loan forgiveness, we have a separate set of view graphs on our site stuff on that. College tours. Oh, stop here. This is where I told you you can register for college tour. Go ahead and click there. Scroll down slowly. And then if you click there and you see the dates for the tours, if you click sign up, you'll see the sign up form for travel, and it asks you to pick one of the three. Okay. So you go to our website for everything, really. All right, now let's show them the YouTube channel after all, before you show the events. YouTube channel, there you go. Go ahead and scroll to the right. Oh, you did the events, okay. But scroll to the right and click on that, and you get to our YouTube channel. We'd like you to subscribe. We recommend cancel, okay. And you'll see there's all of our videos. Click where it says videos up top. You notice that we're live right now on there. We're live right now for this meeting, right out there on YouTube. And you see all of the various emails we've done that relate to education mostly. Every now and then I do one a little different, but they all relate in some way to education or either questions that college students are asking me. And those will also be on our Holy Thinkers EDU site that we're going to tell you about very soon. I decided not to do that today, but I will email you or give you a video really soon that describes where you can see all the different videos. We've got them in 3 types of videos or 3 areas where you can watch. But these are where you're going to find close to 200 videos that we have, also organized by playlists. So there's a lot of good stuff in here that's going to be helpful to you. So helpful to you in your getting information. Now, we post right to here. If you're subscribing, you'll see it. 214 people have already subscribed, but you can subscribe there. All right. Well, I think that did we want to show them? I think we showed them everything there. All right. I'm actually done, believe it or not, parents. I didn't want to keep you too long. Remember that you can get a copy of this presentation by looking in the chat and clicking on that. You'll have a copy of the presentation. Okay. Any other questions that anyone has today? I'm ready to answer those if you're ready. No? No other questions? Let's see. Sister Shirlene, did I answer your question about transcripts? Okay. Just remember to ask the counselor at, I think it's Maranatha. Make sure you ask them, are they sending the transcripts or are you? And if they're sending it, okay, fine. But is there a third-party provider or are you required to send them? Get that really clarified, especially private schools. Okay, especially private schools. Anybody else? I see Sister Bauman is here. I'm glad you found me today, Sister Bauman. Am I saying your name right? Maybe I'm not. Sister Vanessa, are you there?
I am. I had to unmute. Yes, it's bow like cow.
Oh, okay, I did say it right. Wow, I'm amazed that I did that. Okay, yes, I know I missed. I know I canceled out on you. I felt so bad, so I sent you a separate email. Okay, good. I'm glad you're here today. Get a hold of if you need any help in the process.
Thank you.
All right, I think that covers it, unless somebody has a question. No other questions, okay. All right. Oh, thank you, Quinn. I'll go ahead.